Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jai Shri Radhe, Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janna Bala Va Gere Varadari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Gere Varadari. Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Nam. Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chant the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Jai Vishwabad Paramahamsa Parvachka Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Little Jai Vishwabad Paramahamsa Parvachka His Divine Grace. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees. Glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, Text 21. Maya manaha srijati karmamayam baliyaha. Karmamayam baliyaha. Maya manaha srijati karmamayam baliyaha. Sorry. Kalena chodita gunanu matena pumsaha. Kalena chodita gunanu matena pumsaha. Chando mayam jad ajayarpita sodasaram. Chando mayam jad ajayarpita sodasaram. Samsara chakram ajako titaret tad annaya. Samsara chakram ajako titaret tad anya. Like Maya manaha srijati karma mayam baliyaha. Kalena chodita gunanu matena pumsaha. Chando mayam jad ajayarpita sodasaram. Samsara chakram ajako titaret twadanya. Thousands of Maharajas here. Maya, the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Manaha, the mind. Srijati creates. Karma mayam, producing hundreds and thousands of desires and acting accordingly. Baliyaha, extremely powerful, insurmountable. Kalena, by time. Chodita guna, whose three modes of material nature are agitated. Anumatena, permitted by the mercy of the glands, time. Pumsaha, of the plenary portion, Lord Vishnu, the expansion of Lord Krishna. Chandamayam, chiefly influenced by the directions of the Vedas. Yat, which. Ajaya, because of dark ignorance. Arpita, offered. Shodasa, 16. Aram, the spokes. Samsara chakram, the wheel of repeated birth and death in different species of life. Aja, O unborn, Lord. Ka, who is there. Atitaret, able to get out. Twat anya, without taking shelter at your lotus feet. Here there is a thing here. The mind is always planning how to remain in the material world and struggle for existence. It is the chief part of the subtle body, which consists of the mind, intelligence, false ego. Translation: O Lord, O Supreme Eternal, by expanding your planetary portions, you have created the subtle bodies, the living entities, through the agency of your external energy, which is agitated by time. Thus, the mind entraps the living entity in unlimited varieties of desires to be fulfilled by the Vedic instructions and directions of karma kanda, fruitive activity, and the 16 elements. Who can get free from this entanglement unless he takes shelter at your lotus feet? Prabhupada, in the mind, in the hands of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is present in everything. Where is the question of being liberated from material engagement to spiritual bliss, blissful life? Indeed, it is a fact that Krishna is the source of everything. As we understand from Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, all the living entities, all the activities in both the spiritual and material world are certainly conducted by the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the agency of either the material or spiritual nature. As further confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9:10, Maya Dakshana Prakriti Shuyate Sacharacharam. Without the direction of the Supreme Lord, material nature cannot do anything. It cannot act independently. Therefore, in the beginning, the living entity wanted to enjoy the material energy and to give the living entity all facility. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, created this material world and gave the living entity the facility to concoct different ideas and plans through the mind. These facilities offered by the Lord to the living entity constitute the 16 kinds of perverted support in terms of knowledge gathering senses, the working senses, the mind, and the 5 material elements. The wheel of repeated birth and death is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but to direct the bewildered living entity in progress toward liberation, according to various stages of advancement, different directions are given in the Vedas. Chandomayam, if one wants to be elevated to the higher planetary systems, he may follow the Vedic directions. As the Lord states in Bhagavad Gita 9:25, Janti deva brata devanj pitrinanti pitrivata bhutani janti bhutejja janti madhya jinopimam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. Those who worship ancestors go to the ancestors, and those who worship me will live with me. The real purpose of Vedas is to direct one back home, back to Godhead. But the living entity, not taking the real goal of his life, wants to go sometimes here and sometimes there, and do sometimes this and sometimes that. In this way, he wanders throughout the entire universe, imprisoned in various species and thus engaging in various activities for which he must suffer the reactions. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore says, Brahmanda Brahmita Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij, C.C. Madhya Lila, 19:151. The fallen conditioned living entity, trapped by the external energy, loiters in the material world. But if by good fortune he meets a bona fide representative of the Lord, he gives him the seed of devotional service. And if he takes advantage of such a guru or representative of God, he receives the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of devotional service. If he properly cultivates Krishna consciousness, he is then gradually elevated to the spiritual world. The ultimate conclusion is that one must surrender to the principles of Bhakti Yoga, for then one will gradually attain liberation. No other method of liberation from the material struggle is at all possible. Okay, so this is the Prahlad Maharaj pacifies the Lord with prayers. So this is actually prayers by Lord, by Prahlad Maharaj. Lord Nrsimhadev can get very angry, so when he was angry and killed Hiranyakashipu, even the demigods couldn't pacify him because he was so angry. And only Prahlad Maharaj could pacify Lord Nrsimhadev. So here in this verse and in the purport, Prabhupada nicely explaining that the very reason the living entities are in the material world because of desires. Because of our desire, Krishna created this world. There's a reason for everything. Sometimes people say, oh, the world is just created. It's not actually created, it just happened to be here by accident. But Krishna, Prabhupada says in the purport, Maya Dakshina Prakriti, that material nature is working under the direction of this Maya, is working under the direction of Krishna's energy, Maya Shakti, the external energy of Krishna, material energy. And that this material world is working under the direction of Krishna because we desire it. We desire to be in the material world, so Krishna created this world. Just like if you have a desire to make a home, so you work at it. So you save up, you work, and there's so many ways, you make a plan, and so you get a home. You can't just buy a home just like that. You have to have the right amount of money, and you probably have to borrow the money from the bank, and they want to know how you can pay it back. You have a stable job, like this. So eventually you buy a home because you work at it. Similarly, this material world was created by Krishna because we desired it. Very simple to understand. So it's not accidental. Everything is working, according to this purport, is working under the direction of Krishna. And the direction of Krishna, the material energy, is explained here, the three modes of material nature. Sataguna, Tamaguna, Rajaguna. These are three modes of material nature that we are working under their direction. And these material nature, they make us work. We desire and they fulfill our desire. And this way, there's a system in the material creation. That system, Krishna explains it here. First is Krishna. And he's got nothing to do in the material world, actually. Krishna's aloof from this material world. He is in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, having his pastimes with his devotees. But the material world is working under the direction of Krishna, and that energy is Krishna's energy. But doesn't mean that Krishna is not aware of the material world, even though he's in the spiritual world. That's why Prabhupada says here in the purport, Sarvasya Chaha Ridishan Nivishto. Or he says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. He said, this is the verse. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. All material and spiritual come from he. So even though this is a material world, but still it is Krishna's creation. And it's working under the direction of Krishna's material energy. And that material energy is working under the direction of Krishna. Just like the prison house. This material world is actually a prison house. The government, the president of a country, they don't directly go there. Personally, they don't go there to the prison. But there are people working there. Prison guards, and there are rules of the prison house people have to follow. So these guards are working under the government, like the police force, the army, the military. They're all here to protect the citizens. They're all working under the government's rules. Similarly, this is a prison house. This material world is a prison house, Karagar. And in this prison house, it's organized really, really nicely. That's why I explained here, the working senses, the mind, different senses that govern us, that control us. The ahankara, the ego, the different thickness of this material world, that's not easy to get out of this material world. Each layer has its amounts of thickness that you need to get out. And the most powerful one is false ego. And that's why Krishna says, Prabhupada, in this verse, mind. And Krishna says, if you can overcome your mind, you reach the super soul level. The problem here is the mind. Mind desires so many things to acquire in life. So it's not that you can just kill the mind. Some people say, I will suicide. But mind goes with you. The subtle energy. How you kill the mind? That's why Krishna says, you have to engage the mind. Think of me. Man manabhava mad bhakta. Become my devotee. So there's a process for everything. It's not that material world just created, some people say, by bang, just one accidentally, it just created. Nothing happens by accident. So it's a very systematic way of creation of this material energy. And we, the living entities within this material world, this prison house of the material world is controlled and maintained by the three modes of material nature. Triguna, Trigunatmika. These three modes is, we're in a mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness. We're in these modes, we are always affected by the modes. Sometimes we are very happy, sometimes we are very moody, sometimes we are very angry. We are put under different modes, different level of modes. Sometimes we feel good, sometimes we feel bad. We're affected by the modes, three modes. That's why those who are pure devotees, they're not affected by these modes because they're above it. The three modes of material nature is the inferior nature of the material energy, inferior. Spiritual energy is superior energy. That energy is Krishna's energy. Spiritual energy is Krishna's energy, direct energy is Radharani, Radhin Shakti, eternal Krishna's internal potency. And our Atmika energy, which is the covering energy, which is Maya, as I explained here, Maya Shakti. The ordinary living entities were under the control of Maya, Krishna's external energy, covering potency, like a net. Put a net, we are all under the net of Maya. So we always feel down. Sometimes we are all moody, we are down. It's very hard to get out of the material energy, very hard. We're angry very easily. Very hard to control the mind, very hard to control the senses. We're in here chanting japa, and then mind is wandering off different places. We want to go out, have a seat, have a sleep, eat something. So mind is always controlling us. But we have to control the mind. We are not the mind. We are controller of the mind. Buddhi yoga, intelligent. Bhakti yoga, through process of devotion, devotional service. That's what he said. Ultimate conclusion is that one must surrender to the principles of Bhakti yoga. For then one will gradually attain liberation. No other method of liberation from the material struggle is at all possible. So when you give in to the senses, when you surrender to the senses, you give in, let the senses do whatever they like. You are practically suicidal. Because the mind will drive you completely mad in the material world. That's why we don't give in to the demands of the senses. We don't give in to the demands of the mind. The whole process of Bhakti Yoga is how we can to go beyond the sensual objects of the body. How to control the mind, how to control the speech, how to control your body, how to control. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, in the 6th chapter, he says, I am the controller of everything. When he sees this is Krishna, these eyes are Krishna's, the mind is Krishna's. It's his energy. When you can learn to see things in connection to Krishna, then there is no trouble. So I read again. If he properly cultivates Krishna consciousness, he is then gradually elevated to the spiritual world. It's not just a talk. Oh yeah, I'll go back to Godhead. If he takes advantage of such a guru or representative of God, he receives the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of devotional service. The seed of devotional service is just like when you take initiation from a guru. Prabhupada was saying, at that time, he takes all your karma. The spiritual master takes all your karma. First time. But after that, you're responsible. Because you commit a sin, you break the 4 principles when you made the promise in front of the fire and in front of the deity and to your spiritual master and the Vaishnavas. You are sinless after that. But then, you start to deviate the principles. Then the sin again comes. But the spiritual master is not responsible for that. That's why if we can continue to be Krishna conscious from the day where you're initiated, actually even before initiation, that's why you have these exams. So you have to qualify. So in other words, you can dump all your sin to the guru. You're responsible. That is the meaning of a human being. A human being is who can accept the responsibilities of human life. Anyone can be a human being with two legs, 2 arms, 2 eyes. But what makes one a human being when he finally comes to the lotus feet of Krishna? That's the start of a human being. When he starts to associate with devotees, that's the start of a human being. Otherwise, we're still in the material platform, in the body of a human being. Dvipada Pashu. It is mentioned like a 2-legged animals. So here, in the shloka, O Lord, O Supreme Eternal, by expanding your planetary portion, you have created the subtle bodies of the living entities through the agency of your external energy, which is agitated by time. Thus, the mind entraps the living entity in unlimited varieties of desires to be fulfilled by the Vedic directions of karma kanda, fruitive activity, and the 16 elements. Who can be free from this entanglement unless he takes shelter at your lotus feet? You have to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. You have to take shelter of the lotus feet of your spiritual master. You have to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas, of the holy name. Time is a relative. Time is relative. But time, it is said here, time is activated by the material energy which is activated by our desires. You desire, and somebody fulfills your desire. Like we have this temple, how to manage this temple, or any projects, or any organization. There's management. To nicely manage and organize, you have to have management authorities who are managing, and then sub-authorities, presidents, temple presidents, and then commanders, temple commanders, vice president, like this. There's a system for everything to run a smooth running, nicely to run an organization. They must be properly managed by management. So Krishna's universe, this material universe, this world is managed by Krishna's energy, by Krishna, God. God, He's not just sitting there playing flute. He knows everything. He's in the heart of all the living entities. There are 3 types of Vishnu. One is Kiridakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Mahavishnu. Kiridakshaya Vishnu is the Vishnu that sits in the heart of all the living entities. And that's why Krishna says, when someone surrenders to me, someone wants to serve me, I, from within the heart of that living entity, I will guide them to the spiritual master who can help them to come to my lotus feet. That's the Kiridakshaya Vishnu, sometimes known as Cheta Guru, the original spiritual master. He's sitting in our heart as a super soul. He's our original spiritual master. We always have a guru. We always have a teacher who is telling us to guide us. Even in the spiritual world, there's gopis. They don't just do things whimsically. Gopis, there are superior gopis, ultimately Radharani. So there's management, even in the spiritual world. No one is doing things whimsically. So we have to purify our desire. The desires are always there. No one can say, I'm free of desire, I'm desireless. We are desireless when he can dovetail our desire to serve Krishna. Then the desire is less, there's no desire. Because material desires are unlimited. Like the root of a tree, it goes deep and deep. That's why it says here, the seed of the material world is the desire. And the creeper of devotional seeds, that's offered to us by Guru. That says here, where is that? Arpita. It is verse here, Arpita. to offered. Arpita means offered. Yeah, here. Arpita, offered. Shodasa 16, Aram spokes. So we have to offer our senses, our body, our mind to Krishna. We're offering. We can offer any gift, but when we can actually offer ourselves to Krishna, that is known as Atmanivedan, fully surrender to Krishna. That is the hardest thing to do. Very hard to offer ourselves because we always have a personal interest to make sure we don't give 100%, maybe 50% or 20%, like that. 100% is when you completely surrender to Krishna. But no one here can do that. But the process is here where we can completely free from all the desire when we can completely give ourselves to Krishna. Oh Krishna, I'm yours. I'm yours. I surrender to you. We see Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada Lila Amrita, if you can read about Srila Prabhupada, he had many dreams that his spiritual master was coming to Prabhupada and he says, take sannyas. And Srila Prabhupada said he was freaked out because he was still a grihastha. And Prabhupada was coming all the time. Bhaktivedanta was coming, take sannyas. Then he took seriously. And his business was failing. His chemist business, factory, everything was going, not doing well. That's an indication that he has to take sannyas. He didn't just take it straight away. He prepared for it when the time was right. But he was working towards that direction. We are the same. Why these instructions are there? Because sooner or later, all of us, we're going to have to give up everything, sooner or later. No one can be here forever with your family, with your home, with your business. We all, a time will come, we all have to give up these things. So we're preparing for that. Time of death is a time we are preparing for that time, how to die. People think you guys are crazy. No, let's enjoy. Death will come and it's all over. But there's death after, there's another life after death. So this Krishna consciousness movement is, we're preparing for that time of death. One day I was sleeping, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to die and I'm going to get choked up and, like, I can't talk and I'm going to get old. It was freaking me out. I couldn't sleep all night. I was sweating just thinking about it. I think, like we talk about it, but actually if you start to think death's coming, how you're going to die, you'll just go crazy. I was sweating, like, I was thinking, wow, I can't, how is this so difficult time? Then I pick up my bead bag, I got up from the bed, I pick up my bead bag, I thought I don't want to think this, so I'm going up and down the room chanting. I felt better. So don't think too much, just think of Krishna. Don't think of the pain, these are all material situations that we put into. But we have to really take shelter of Krishna. Like it says, take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, of the Lord. These are prayers by Prahlad Maharaj. If we don't, things can get really tough. This world is a tough place we're living in. I just been traveling Asian countries. I was in Fiji, I was in Taiwan, I was in India, I was in Vietnam. Everywhere people are struggling for life, for livelihood. It's not easy. And you open the news, so tough. In Africa right now, Nigeria, one of the countries, there's no water. They're begging Australians to send money. We taking shower hours and hours. They can value a drop of water. They're so scarce of water, scarce of food. Animals all dying, drought. This is the material world. This is the reality. Struggling for existence. Hard struggle for existence. Prabhupada says like that. When I just came from India, from Gujarat, a very pious state in India. We were taking Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra on the head from the 5-story building. We were taking down the lift to go on the street to Harinam. So we started the kirtan, we were going down the lift. Each floor they said, come to our house, So it took us 1 hour to get down to the building, because you have to go to people's home and do a kirtan. This is how pious they are. And here we're struggling because we're seeing here the neighbors are giving us a hard time. How outrageous. They're saying, come on, sing more. They're telling us to sing. You're not singing loud enough. We can't hear you from our home. That's what they're telling us. So pious. And they have a farm, 2 hours drive from Ahmedabad. They farm. They got 400 cows there, 400. And 40 cows are giving milk. So much milk. They're big bags. Those are cows we have in our farm here. Those are the cows that came from Gujarat. They have a huge temple there at the farm. And they had Janmashtami, 10,000 people came. This local, the farming area. They're feeding them. And the land was donated, 70 acre, by some rich Gujarati. Free, big land. And they're making a really good Goshala there. Has so much property, 70 acre. Growing fruits and big building. So amazing. The reason I'm saying this, if we have a genuine desire, Krishna will help us to spread Krishna consciousness, to become Krishna conscious. That's what it says here, desire. If we don't have a desire to serve Krishna, we are just happy with ourselves, being comfort ourselves. We're going to lay back and the preaching will stop. We get too attached to the attachment to the enjoyment. Good food, lifestyle, like nice house, nice food, nice facility. We become slack and lack. That's why for a devotee, if there is difficulty, we can turn to Krishna. Even I went to one city in Gujarat, and they're building a temple there, going to be made out of stone. Nobody these days makes temple out of a stone. It's going to cost them crores and crores of rupees, maybe millions. But their Guru Maharaj says, we want a temple made out of stone. So I said, they already started, and there's just 2 huge stones standing there. There's no temple. I said, where are you going to get the money? He said, oh, Krishna will provide. I said, you're talking like Prabhupada speaks. And Prabhupada, he used to talk like that. Because Prabhupada is pure, but we are his followers. And he said, don't worry, Gujarati people are very pious, they'll give when they see the result. So they started it. So, if we can purify our desire, refine our desire to serve Krishna, Krishna will give. Krishna is the owner of the universe. He says here, He's Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. All spiritual and material come from me. It is for His service. Why will not give? He will give if we have the genuine desire to actually build the temple for Him, to serve Him. Prabhupada said, you can take the whole world in 18 days. And everybody said, oh really, Srila Prabhupada? Tell us how to do it. And then Prabhupada said, yes, but if you take this world in 18 days, you're going to sit back and relax. He will stop preaching. So not that Krishna will not give. He will give when He sees us genuinely want to preach, to expand Krishna consciousness. That's why it says expansion. Krishna Himself expands in different forms. That the fact that He's in all the living entities' heart, He expanded Himself. He could say, let them become a rock. They don't want to serve me. I would do that. If you don't like me, I turn you into rock. But Krishna is very merciful. He sits in the heart of all the living entities. And He listens to our desires. He listens to our what we want from Him. If you want material, He'll give material through His energies. If you want Krishna, He will give Himself. He gave the process. That's why He's sitting there. He's there, sitting there, so He can listen to us. When the Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, they were sitting in Vrindavan writing books, Grihasthas and family people, villagers, they would come to and talk to them and tell them about their family problems. Sanatana Goswami used to listen. He used to counseling them. It's not that we are devotees, we don't listen to people's problem. We can listen to your problem, but they can trust us. That's why they come to us. They love us, they trust us. We have the solution. Psychiatrists, these people, they don't have the solution. They themselves have problems. Why they come to us? Why they went to Sanatana Goswami? He's writing books, he's chanting. He doesn't have time for it. But he listens to them because they like him, they trust him. He has genuine love for them. They feel comfortable being with him. So that's us. Devotees will come to us, even for material things. And we can properly guide them, we can instruct them, materially and spiritually. People come to Krishna. 4 kinds of men come to Krishna. So Krishna says, these 4 kinds of men, even for material things. But in the next verse, Krishna says, I purify them. At least they come to me. So it's not that... so if we have the purity, Prabhupada said purity is the force. If we can be pure and clean habit, good Krishna conscious, genuine devotee, chanting sincerely, Krishna from within will help us to progress. Krishna from within, He will guide us. Krishna from within, He will give us material things to spread Krishna consciousness. But it's for His pleasure. Like we are traveling in an airplane, in a car. These things are not, a devotee is not allowed to actually, to cross the ocean as sannyasi. But because we accept on behalf of Krishna, to preach Krishna consciousness, spread the holy name, spread Krishna consciousness, open temples, these things become spiritual, even material things. But then when we become attached to those things, because material things followed by devotion, when you become Krishna conscious, you become famous and people offer you material things. But never in our mind should think that I am become such and such, so great. We know we are humble servant of our spiritual master. It is by his blessings, by the blessing of Prabhupada, by the blessing of Krishna. We can be tools in the hand of our spiritual master. Then Krishna will shower abundantly wealth. We don't have to worry. Because Krishna is the owner of everything. But when you become attached to things and you start to desire material desire, cultivate material desire, then there's an issue. Then it becomes a problem. See, when Sudama Vipra, his wife was telling him, your friend is God. Krishna is your friend. Hey, here we are living in the hut. Go ask him to give, wealth. Then we can live very good life. He said, no, I don't want to go to Krishna for material things. But he went. When he met Krishna, he forgot to ask him. He just wanted to serve Krishna, love Krishna. But Krishna knows. So when he went back, his house was transformed into a palace, golden palace. But Krishna knows our desire within, that we want to serve him. But he also will take care of us. It's not that he's like, just serve me. That some people do in this world. Kings, and they just have a good life, make everybody work for them. They're poor people suffering, but they totally ignore them. God is not like that. Jai bhajati tumam bhaktya. He said, those who worship me, they are very dear to me. Especially those who worship me. His bhakta, devotees. Now you're sitting on a big throne, you're enjoying, and everybody's serving you, and you're homeless and you're suffering. That is not the way. Krishna doesn't do like that. Even in this world we can see, Prabhupada said 99% of the population are godless. But he's providing. So, material world, who said the material world is a wonderful place? It's a place for struggle. Everywhere we go, they're struggling. People are struggling. So he said, if you want to enjoy, fine. Go to the material world. You can enjoy. Also, you'll find out the material world is a rotten place. It's a place of suffering. Down, Abrahma Bhavana Loka, down to the material Patala Loka, down to, from the highest planet, the Brahma Loka, down to the lowest planet in the universe. All are places of suffering. Krishna says. So you want to go to the material world? Fine, you go to the material world. But very soon you will know that's not the place you belong. Material world is a place of struggle. I just came from India. I was in Ahmedabad. We went on Harinam. We couldn't do a good Harinam because they didn't have a proper footpath. Just everyone's walking everywhere, and just how to do Harinam. So we had to kind of walk on the side of the road along with the cars. But people seem to be very happy. Everyone, Haribol. And you come here, nice clean road, but people are struggling, people are suffering, anxiety. Only I came here, only here, all kinds of people that talk to themselves, they walking in the street, with tattoos, dirty people. I never saw this anywhere in India or anywhere else. In Taiwan, where people are very clean, very respectful. You come here, there are all kinds of crazy people, shouting, swearing, and crazy, just walking in the street. And this is supposed to be a very advanced country. Like people have everything. I didn't see any of that in India. People have plenty of food. Everywhere there's temple. And we're giving free food every day. Khichdi, other things. So many temples we can go to. So even though material is a place of struggle, but if we take shelter of Krishna, Krishna will provide. That's how it works. This is the purport. You have to genuinely take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Genuinely take shelter of the holy name. And then, because it says here, Prabhupada very nicely says here, the living entity, not knowing the real goal of his life, wants to go sometimes here and sometimes there and do something, sometimes this and sometimes that. Very interesting. You see, they just had the grand final. People still left over. They didn't go to they didn't go back to their place where they came from. Cities full of people. They're just spending here and there, like he said here. Going here, going there. Anytime you go to the airport, people going here, going there. Everyone is looking for happiness, searching for the happiness. Anandamaya vyasat. The living entities by nature are happy. That's why we're looking for happiness. So we go here, we go there. Sometimes here, sometimes there. There's no place. Everywhere goes the same. Everywhere. When they are frustrated, when they are totally exhausted in life, then they turn to God. This is why we are here. Chala Bhagwan ke paas. Last solace of happiness, just turn to Him. This is why people come, 4 kinds of men. So let them wander around in the material world. They'll get so frustrated and exhausted. Finally, they turn to God. Those people, they make the best devotees. Because they had enough of the material world. They had enough. They're solid devotees. When you, even as a devotee, if you think there's something else is there in the material world, then you're still lingering some desires within your heart. There's something else is still there. Then it's going to be difficult for you. You will not get the full mercy because you're still holding on to material desires aside from Krishna. So you have to let go. That's what surrender means. You fully give in to Krishna. And that's why it says here, surrender to Krishna. Imprison various species of dust. Anyway, so the living entities, different forms of life, species of life, they're all trying the same thing, to be happy. So as a human being, we are the top of all the species, the top human beings. Because in this human form of life, you are able to get liberation. You can be free from the imprisonment. That's what it says in the purport at the end. Because if you are a cat or a dog or any animal species, they are living by their own instincts. They don't have a desire to go to the temple and chant, get initiated. They can't do it. Only human beings. Sometimes, this initiation is taking too long, too many exams, so now I don't want to get initiated. But this is all part of the process. Just like if you're trying to get a visa to come to Australia, they have a system. You have to get the point system, right? Point system. 90% if you're young, then you can come and work here. Many other qualifications. How much money you have in the bank, that's one of them. And then your level of education and what you can do here. So many things. So this is all, so you apply for a visa to come here, and it's going to take time. Maybe 1 year to get visa, depending what type of visa. It's taking too long. Sometimes you maybe get rejected. But in spiritual world, you don't get rejected. Everyone can come. So similarly, we are all trying to get visa to go back to Godhead. And the stamp is when you get initiation. Okay, you and so and so. Wow, thank you. And there's more work to do. So when you get a visa, you are finally here. Doesn't mean that's it. You still have to work, get a job, right? So we get initiated, and you get second initiated, then you do deity worship, He doesn't just go, I have a thread, you scratch your back with it. Then you worship the deity, cook for Krishna. So there's a progression. This progress is happening. So it's taking so long to get a visa. I don't want to go anymore. I like it here. No. So we're all in the process of the entrance to the spiritual world. We're in the line. And the final test is at the time of death. Oh, mama, papa, this, that. If you think of these things, you have to come back here again. You have to think of Krishna at the time of death. No one is there at the time of death except you and God. So this is the whole thing. So right now we have to make solid desire to serve Krishna. Then the desires are pure desire for Krishna, then at the time of death it will become automatically, your desires will turn towards the lotus feet of Krishna. But we have to work at it right now. Then you will get the visa, stamps, stamp duty. I have some of my friends there, they sell land, they get the stamp duty. If you're working for Krishna, your spiritual master, your Vaishnavas, we're all helping each other to get that visa, to go back to Godhead. Any questions? Yes.
Thank you for your class, Prabhu. For someone who's like lost all their money or lost everything that's dear to them, like Krishna's taken it away, what can we tell to those people? What are some things that we can say to them to help them come closer to Krishna?
Okay, first of all, if they turn to a devotee, that's the first thing. They could have gone to someone else, like lost and found, that kind of place, or the government. But if they turn to the devotees, obviously they know these are spiritual people. They're not going to say, okay, show us the bank or something. We're going to tell them our spiritual subject matters, spiritual subjects and instructions of how to really be happy. So you have to see the situation depending what age, what kind of thing they lost, so we can advise accordingly. Just like your friend, I met his mother. He said, "Can you take my son and can stay in the temple here?" Then when he found out how hard we work, they said, "No thanks." So it depends how sincere they are. They really genuinely want to solve the problems, then they will take up seriously. They will take up the hardship. But if you don't have that kind of sincerity, even in the material world, even not as a devotee, you will find difficulty. Because we don't work that hard. Some people, they have second jobs, third job, they stay up all night. They work more than us, more hard than us. Where we're sleeping, some people still working at night. So if you're lazy, then that's the first thing. So we can advise them accordingly, we can talk to them, what they need, are they happy, what's the problem, then we can see the situation. They have this Bhagavad Gita card reading during the festival, they read from the card. You remember that? So some people are telling all very inner things, very interesting to talk to them. Some people they really, they want to know sincerely. And they open their heart. So we can sincerely talk to them, advise them. We have the solution. We don't advise people to go to psychiatrists. We say, read Bhagavad Gita, read Bhagavatam. Sometimes people say, hey, you have an issue, you go see psychiatrists. They themselves have problems. They don't know how to advise. This is why you're all devotees, because you found the solution to life. The solution is there in the books. But that's why we have to become expert in preaching. And people, really sincere people, will turn to Krishna. If they're not sincere, they take to drugs and suicidal. But if they're really sincere, they turn to religion, they turn to God. So if they come to us, it's easy, because we already know they're that type of mentality. They turn to devotees, because we know this person is like this. We can easily advise them accordingly, spiritually. Yeah. Anybody else? Is that okay? I'm a preacher. Like half the time I meet people, I always talk to people about these things. And at crossways or restaurant, down the street, even here at the temple, I always try to talk to people and find people. When I'm taking prasadam upstairs in the lunchtime, people come, and so especially Westerners. And I always sit with them, talk with them, give them some company, friendship. Then they open themselves. Even though they don't find anyone they can trust in the chill world, but they can trust devotees. But that's what we're here for. If we are not devotees, we'll be taken to other methods of life. Because we have love for Krishna, and we want to know the truth of life. We are searching for the absolute truth. This is why we're devotees. And then people, even amongst ourselves, will see, this guy is so good, so sincere. They want to make friends with you. They want to know more about you and Krishna from you, because they feel you are sincere. They feel you are genuinely practicing. Even amongst ourselves, we have that kind of attitude with each other. I'm like that. I always talk to people who can inspire me spiritually. Yeah. You have any questions? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.